Okay guys, we have a window regulator assembly out of this 2011, I think it is, Mack GU. And yeah, the window regulator motor died on it. So we've got a replacement motor. This whole assembly here was ordered from Muncy Corporation in Springfield, Ohio. They're the ones who make the motors and gear drive assembly for this regulator assembly for Mack. So if you want to save yourself a bunch of money, buy it directly from them. They're the ones who make it. And here's the part numbers. One thing that'll kind of mess you up is, so this is the original motor that came out, 12763L, and the other side is 12763R. And you would think one is for left side, one is for right side, which obviously it is, but you would think sitting in the driver's seat, well, left's gotta be on the driver's side, right's gotta be on the passenger side, but no, it's the other way around. So just keep that in mind. Not a big deal though. And I somehow ended up ordering the wrong one, but it doesn't matter because the only difference is actually in the gear drive, which isn't a big deal. There's nothing wrong with my gear drive, and it's actually broken in a little nicer. But this motor, you can see the contact where the brushes run up against is completely worn out. So the brushes, there's like nothing left of them, and some moisture got in there, and I think it just destroyed everything. This is a motor out of a Lexus, and you can see they've got like a vent that vents moisture and heat. So much nicer design, in my opinion. Probably is why it's lasted much longer. But, so yeah, this is out of the passenger side. Now, we can swap them. This will be like the one that comes in your truck, and you'll notice the difference between these ones is the depth of the mounting pegs that sit out of the housing here, and also the gear drive assembly itself is a little bit taller. The shaft that goes down into the main drive that the worm gear runs is a little bit longer. So everything's a little bit taller, and they do that to space the motor away from this housing assembly. So all I'm gonna do here, motor's the same, but these are different. So I'm just gonna swap them and we'll put them together. There's a little gasket in there. If you wanted to take yours apart, you're gonna need a soldering iron and some stuff. There's some connections that you're gonna have to unsolder in order to pull it out to inspect it. So it's a little more advanced. I was able to tell just on the bench by powering it up. You could tell the motor was really sluggish and it would just cut out, so I knew it needed a motor. So I'm just gonna button this up. We'll stick these together. I'll probably put some lube inside of there and give it the best chance. I'll clean this all up before I put it together. Now let's go over the truck, and I'm just gonna show you quickly some of the stuff you're gonna have to do in order to remove that door panel to get in there in the first place. There's a couple things, some key notes. Now this is what you're gonna be looking at. Obviously you got your door panel, it's gonna be sitting there. First thing that you're gonna have to remove is this window frame cover piece. And they are just 7mm bolts. There's 4 of them. So you remove those, you can take that plate off, and then there will be this piece right here. This just pops off. There's no screws, they're just pressure clips. Once that comes off, in behind that, there will be 2 more screws here and on the other side, and 3 screws on the bottom. They're all Torx. They'll be, the bottom ones are going to be, I don't know where the hell my, oh, it's here. The bottom ones are going to be T15, and the top ones, I believe, are T30. So once you get all of those out, the next thing you're going to have to do is deal with a couple upper things. So you're going to have the door handle. There's you can use the I believe it's a T20, but you can take that screw out, remove your door handle latch. This comes off of here, and then behind that, you've got another screw in there. It's a T30, I think it is. And then 2 T15 screws here for your window switch. That pops up, undo both connectors. Just some tabs right here. Just, it's hard to mess it up because they're naturally formed and they're like gonna sit like that. So, but they can get switched from side to side. So if you want, just tape them and make note of it. But yeah, once you get the window switch out, then you can get this door panel off. Now the door panel sits down onto this track piece here. So what you'll have to do is sort of pull it away and up. And once you get that unlatched off of there, what you're gonna have to do is remove this one connector here for your courtesy lamp. Very simple, you just push up on this connector tab right here and unlatch it. And then the last thing is your locking cable for your door locks. And it's fairly simple as well. There's just a slot right there in this black piece. And that goes right in here. So you're just gonna pop that out and then it just comes off of this dowel pin here that's actually attached to the locking lever itself. So once you get this cover off, you'll notice there'll be this black piece in behind, and all that's holding it on, you'll have one Christmas tree clip right here, and there may be 2 or 3 screws that hold the window regulator assembly, that plate that we were just looking at. It sits in here. So yeah, you'll just remove those 2 10mm screws. This piece pops off. And that pretty much brings us to this point. Now, before you get the window regulator assembly to come out, there is going to be 2 more 10mm screws up here. And then you're going to have to deal with a couple of these linkages. So one of them goes down to your door handle, and which is the lock. And then the other one you can just leave attached. This is actually the rod that attaches your door handle, outer door handle, to the latch itself. And you can leave that attached. It's a bit finicky. It's like a spring-loaded jaw style. It bites onto this. It's not threaded, but it's kind of threaded. But what you do is, to take this out, it's different. It's not bolted in, but there's these jagged spikes that sit down in here like so. And what you got to do is, you'll see there's like these little spring clamps. So you have to push it out, hold the spring out with like a screwdriver or something, and then these will pop up. And once you remove both of these, then you can just push your door handle assembly and just let it hang out to the side like that. And this needs to come out of the way in order to get the window regulator assembly out. And that's the way that it comes out. The bottom swings over, and then you can tilt it and slide it out this way. Now, there is actually, I forgot to tell you, there's 2 more 10mm bolts that hold the glass to the actual regulator assembly. And I just undid those and then pushed the glass all the way up and just used like packing tape to hold the glass in place. And then that way it's up and you don't have to deal with it. It's the best way to do it, in my opinion. There is suction cup things that you can buy, but packing tape works great. So I'm gonna go clean that up, switch that stuff over. We'll come back and I'll show you the reinstallation. All right, so I've put the motor on, bolted that on. There's 3 screws that hold the motor to the regulator assembly. Then we slip it up in here, and just watch, because the bottom of the glass is along there. You just want to be careful that it goes in the proper way. Patience. We're going to hook up our lock actuator. I'm going to hook this back up. We've got our 2 locking plates that go in there. And then all you're going to do is you just slip them in. There's sort of a track so they can only go in. You could use a hammer, that'd probably be ideal, but you get the idea. You just want to like hammer that down until it's sturdy. And then what we can do now is start 2 bolts up here so that this sort of is in place. You can see I've put a couple zip ties to keep this wiring harness out of the way so it doesn't get caught up on stuff. Sorry, this zip tie shouldn't be here. Zip tied the wrong spot. But yeah, a couple zip ties, and probably put another one maybe down here or something. We just want to keep the wiring out of the road so it's not getting hit. While we have this apart, it's a good idea to put a little bit of grease along this track. You can see it's completely dried out. And there's a nylon piece that's part of the window track that the window bolts to that slides on there. So we'll give that a little bit of grease. And then now we need to put the window on. So very simple. All I'm gonna do is go up there, cut the tape, carefully drop the window down. The glass is gonna come down the door until these two holes line up. And then it's just two 10mm bolts. They're the same little self-tapping sharp bolts that hold this on and up here. So I'll do that right now. And once we get that secured on there, we're pretty well ready to start reassembling the panels on the inside of the door.